Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's very cold in the basement, so this coffee is going to be warming me up just ever so slightly. So good morning. Welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Again, thank you for being here and waking up so early. Well, shouldn't be that early. I mean, it is mid morning or close to it. So at least by the time the show's over. So good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Tanya. How is everybody doing? Hello, Nicole. And so how's everybody doing? How was your week? It's hey Rachel, good morning. And no, it's been an interesting week. I finished up my vacation on Monday and then was back to the grind again on Tuesday. But the cool thing was I got to work from home. Um, so that was a perk in itself, is just not having to wake up extra early. Good morning, Carmen and Debbie. Good morning. And it was nice to not have to get up so early and cleaned up and drive, an hour and 10. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Shannon, good morning. Coffee cheers to you. Can't avoid that. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a nice, thing. It was really cool was that, being gone for, basically a week, not counting, the Thanksgiving and Black Friday, but just the fact of getting back into the swing of things. And, normally I'm a field tech, and so I had to work help desk, and it's always it's probably not the best way to segue, getting back into work, even though, as I joke around, the AV or audio visual gods were looking out for me on Tuesdays, because they ended up not pounding me and hammering me and just all the other explanatives on top of me for my first day back. So the AV gods certainly helped me out on Tuesday, because it was very light and easy. Hey, good morning, Rodney. So I can't complain about Tuesday, because it was a little crazy getting back into the things. You got to remember passwords from over a week ago, week prior, and then you got to go through a routine, because there's different things. When I'm the backup for the help desk, there's different things you have to constantly check, all the time, and so you're constantly running through them all and trying to remember everything. And when it's not your normal daily, it gets to be a little bit of a pain to try to get to it. But by Friday, you finally get into that groove, like we all do. We get into a groove, and then it's not so bad. Still got to do it one more day on Monday, so I'm home one more day, which is super cool. And then I'll be back driving up to work on Tuesday through Friday of next week. Then I'm back on a shorter mini vacation for 3 days. So then the following, so a week from Monday, I'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, and those will be my final 3 days of actual vacation time, that I have that allotted for the year. And then I'll go back to my final 2 days of on-site, that Thursday and Friday, and then the following week, which was Christmas, leading into the Christmas weekend, I have to work from home 4 days, and then we go on holiday break from work on the 24th, Christmas Eve. So we will I will then not have to do anything until the 3rd of January. So yeah, hey, let's see. Yep, Margaret. Yep. Good morning, Sharon. Hey, Kenzie. So yeah, good morning. Yeah, so that's so that's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of that happens this time of year. Last couple of years, actually the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I've tend to save a lot of vacation time, and I forget to use it. Not forgetting to use it, I'm cautious in using it. I do take long weekends, and this year, I'd actually burned through almost half of my allotment, because of the movies, or the movie, Never Blink, which will be out next year. And I burned a lot of time, doing those movies. Hey, good morning, Jeff. And so that was weird, because going into the end of the summer, early fall, it was weird to not have as many days as I'm used to. But I saved my days up because of family. I got, young kids. So you never know if you need to be home for them because of they're sick, or, all those fun things that a parent has to worry about. you know? but it's, responsibility you have to take seriously. So yeah, so that's kind of like what's been, been kind of happening at least on that aspect of the week. I do have, obviously some things to talk about. And again, just to remind people, especially anybody that's brand new and seeing this, at any point, if you guys have questions, just, go and throw them there. And I will stress, this morning show is basically, open-ended. I do have topics or things to mention. But also at the same time, I'm not doing, some people jump in here think I'm doing readings. No, I wouldn't do that typically on a Saturday show, because I want this to be that interaction. I want us to kind of talk and share what we've been thinking about, or or see if we have things that have happened mutually during the week, which we have seen over this year so many times. I'll talk about things that have been going on with me, and then you guys are like, wow, that sounds familiar. I was kind of going through that. So that's the whole point. So oh, absolutely, Kenzie. Yeah, I mean, I need to do it better throughout the year, and that's my problem. Is here it is. I'm using, what I do. So I'm using 8 days here, starting in November, but December. So really the last couple of months, I'm using 8 days that I probably should have backed them up and did them in nicer weather. But now that, we're getting into winter, there's less things for me to go out and do, or, considering when I am home, my kids are still in school. So then I kind of help out with, picking and dropping them off. So, I mean, I jump into those responsibilities full speed ahead. So, but I do, I mean, you do what you got to do. And I wish, there's always the wishing, I wish this would have been different and things. But I make the best out of anything and everything, it doesn't mean that I won't, get a little cranky over things that don't happen. Like I did for this last, break. I talked about it last weekend, but yeah, I didn't get to a lot of things I thought I would, but responsibilities took over. So, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Margaret, I get you there. That's why you were so temporary with the years, 6 of them. Yeah. It's tough. It is tough. Oh yeah, and Kenzie, easier said than done. Absolutely. So, it's crazy, but it sometimes it's nice because it's where I work. I mean, I work for a company and they supply me to another company, a bigger company, and we get to abide by their holiday rules, which is super cool. Not by our company's rules or holiday rules. And so we get a lot more time. So typically I go on break Christmas Eve, and then I don't have to go back until the 3rd. So everything is paid, holiday, covered. So, I mean, I'm good to go. So I get vacation there, which is great because, you get to kind of hang out with family. You don't have to worry about getting up so early. Now, if I was still under 100% of the company I work for, I'd have to be working in between, Christmas and New Year's. So it's the only thing that's a little downfall. So I do like this change. So if I ever left, it's going to be rough having to work between, Christmas and New Year's, but it is what it is. You just gotta do what you gotta do. But then again, I would love more than anything to, eventually get out of the day job stuff and just be doing this stuff. I'd rather be doing my passions. I'd rather be working with all of you, bringing in clients daily and doing readings and cleansing and healings and, that sort of thing, and sort of make my passions, full force. And, it's going to happen, it's definitely in the works, but, I got to make sure that I'm covered. I can't just do as much as I believe in, you just take that leap and jump for it. I still want to make sure that I have responsibilities taken care of. So, the idea of having a little bit extra cash on the side, because obviously that first leap is going to be, it's going to be rough financially. And I have to make sure I'm not, swimming in, too much debt. So yeah, Kenzie, it is kind of like, I mean, but we are not government related at all. So totally not that way, but and absolutely manifesting. It is. I've been manifesting for a long time, and there's been moments where they start to pop through and things. And so it's kind of cool. Debbie, always good to take a break at the end of the year. It is. Well, and that's something I was going to segue into. So I'm glad you brought that up, Debbie. A lot of the astrological events that, is one of the things I was going to talk about today. As you guys know, and again, I'm just going to use my little cheat sheet because I hate when I'm not fully repaired, prepared and stuff like that. But now I'm curious. So, like I said, we're just going to segue in because that's what I'm used to. We're just going to jump in. uh, book before Jeff. Let's see. I read your book before you quit your day job. After I quit to start my business. So, um, I don't know if anybody noticed or if anybody had any struggles last night or, technically this morning. Did anybody have issues? Hey, good morning, Donna. And did you guys have any restless nights of sleep? Were you guys, did you wake up several times? Any other feelings, being extra tired going into last night, that sort of thing? Because there was an event if people were paying attention to early this morning. So I'm just kind of curious. I'll wait just a moment when I take a sip and see if anybody was having anything either yesterday or last night. Okay, Kenzie. Okay, I'm going to throw that up there. Nice we've been feeling off, but actually slept good last night. Okay. Tanya. Yes, I couldn't fall asleep. Okay. Again, yep. I wouldn't doubt the sleep one. So Kenzie, it's because you more than likely you were dealing with everything ahead of time, and then you finally transitioned as to what happened in the wee hours this morning. Oops, sorry. But as I'm sure maybe a couple more people will jump in here, but I typically I struggle with some sleep things, and it's not so much getting to sleep. I can get to sleep no problem. Usually about 98% of the time. Pretty good. And let me see what everybody said. Margaret saying all of last week, that was weird. Dreams I couldn't remember, restless nights, all of it. Took cold medicine last night. So I slept. Sometimes, you gotta do a little bit that if it helps, it helps. Shannon, I was extremely tired last night, but I made sure to truly set my intentions with the eclipse. So she snuck it in there. I did wake up in the middle of the night and repeated my intentions again this morning. So Shannon leaked it a little bit there. So and then Kenzie wanted to say yes, and actually feel rested for the first time in a week. The eclipse was last night, wasn't it? Yep. Let's see, Patty. I woke up at 1 a.m. wide awake. Couldn't get back to sleep till after 3:30. Ooh. I like that. I like the triple threes there, Patty. I do like the number there. It's interesting that you actually knew and paid attention to what time it was. That's awesome. So yeah, there was a solar eclipse last night, and Captain Cook takes care of us. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, Rachel, all week my sleep has been off due to the tooth issue, but last night I slept like a baby. Okay. Well, and that's the thing is you kind of have a teetering effect and a balance, that we've talked about before, and you guys have heard many others talk about it. But yeah, there was a solar eclipse last night. Granted, most of us couldn't see it because it was in the southern part of the earth. But obviously it doesn't mean that you can't still experience it. You still can't feel it during the hours that it is happening. Sure, some people visually got to see the eclipse, but the rest of us have to go by feeling. So, in a way. And Patty was saying she was tossing and turning. Jeff, just call you the doctor. Yeah, right. Granted, I'm not going to fight you on the drink to help you kind of calm down a little bit. I mean, stressful days, sometimes it's nice to just take a little sip of something. But yeah, so I mean, obviously that is a part of some of the solar eclipse. There is where you could struggle all week because it's just how you personally are going to go, get through the moment, the event, so to speak. And for those that were obviously having trouble sleeping all week and then slept great last night, that's because you were already preparing for it ahead of time. Now, a lot of other people that struggled last night, it's because, it just wasn't meant for them to be getting all the early symptoms, as I like to call them, because it's kind of fun, ahead of time and prepare you for that. So doesn't mean, something's bad or something's off or anything like that for you. It's just how it is. And I've said it once, I don't know how long ago it was, but it was maybe within the last month or two, couple months, that it made me think how there's been people that have noticed that, like that, where they've experienced things, and then the day of the event, which even I've been there, the day of the event, I'm like, everything's fine, or the opposite, to where it was, fine all week, and then the day of the event was rough. So it's interesting, but see, I look at it that a lot of us that do, metaphysical and holistic, practices, we at least how I see it. Now, I mean, I haven't heard everybody's opinions on it, but just how I see it is that we go through that for a reason. We can't all go through it the exact same time, because what happens if we need somebody else to help us through it? And I think that's a key thing, because why does that happen? If you This show has been great to kind of point that out, and at least for me, it is sort of like a research project where I get to see these things and see your comments and see who's dealing with stuff. And even if you're not doing mediumship like me or others, and you're not doing all the fancy things, but you're still connected, you're still sensing the energies and things. um that's still valid, that still works. And so it's interesting to see the how some of us will struggle but then be okay, and then be okay and then struggle. But I love the fact that we do have a chance to lean on each other, and that's why, like, other times I will post some of the things that are going on, about me, like maybe I'm not feeling so great, or I'm struggling. I do that multiple reasons. Some of you know this because you've heard me say it before, is that, we need to lean on each other more. We obviously, and we don't dive into things that are going on in the the no the world outside our homes and things, but there's a lot of things that we've lost, and doing this to where we can kind of lean on each other. And so, me putting out there's not so much to do a negative thing, because that most of you know that I really don't want to go down a negative path ever. I always want to try to throw something of positivity towards you. And you guys have followed my posts throughout the weeks, can see that. I always find something within whatever I'm witnessing or experiencing, and I try to show you what it is and how it can be. So always keep that in mind. um let's see, I saw a couple people. Let's see let's see Jeff's got a question. Honest question: do you think that paying attention to when the events are coming, that you may be affected more because that you're already putting in your... That's a great point. See, Jeff, now I've done that research on myself, to where and I've talked about it on this show, but it's probably the beginning of the year or something like that. But last year, was my goal was to not pay attention as closely to any astrological events that were going on. And I did that because I wanted to find out if that was the case. If I see that something's coming, does that change how then the experience is, whether it's good or bad? It doesn't matter. But I purposely tried to avoid it all. And shockingly enough, because I would avoid it at all cost, when stuff was going on and I was having a bad day, and bad day just in the sense of not struggling, like, with work or something like that, but just the energies, the feelings, and the strange things that would go on, whether it was one day or a whole week. I then would reach out to like my friend Jennifer, because she's usually on top of that sort of thing, over the last couple of years. And I'd be like, what is going on astrological? And then, like I said, this was last year, and she would say, well, this is going on. I'm like, okay, because then you would see what typically are some of the symptoms that you would get for that said event. And it's like, so it for me, it definitely proved it. Now, even with me knowing it, see, I've been so trained, so immersed into not putting my personal opinions in it. Because if I say I will let you know if it's going to be a personal opinion, because I will call it out as that. But if I just when I see these things coming up, that's great, but it doesn't change anything for me. Like, okay, I see they're happening, but even then, I'm not always savvy that to the fact of I know what the symptoms will be, because I just don't know what it's going to do for me. So to me, it's neat to, it's cool to know it, but at the same time, then don't research it, and then just see what happens that week of, or the day it happens, the astrological event. And so you can just see, and you can find that information out for yourself personally. Now, there's a lot of people that aren't open to things, so sure, it's not going to, affect them at all. Sometimes it does, because, our guides, our angels, those looking out for us, we'll still poke you once in a while to kind of say, hey, we are here. I know you don't believe in us, but we are here. And so, but yeah, I try really hard not to dig into them as much. Like I said, I'm going to kind of go through there's a few more that are coming up here. But that's a great question, Jeff. But yeah, and I would agree with you that that can happen to some people. They can really just be so devoted and they're working themselves up. And sure, that just like, Jeff, in paranormal investigations, you just swear to God that you have an infestation of spiritual activity in your home, and it's just the most craziest demonic things that are happening. But then you go in there and you realize it's not. It's just because they've worked themselves over to it. So they've overthought things and stuff. So yeah, I've just done it. And everybody, like I said, just kind of hang back and, I'm going to tell you about what's coming up, but I'm not going to tell you what, you may experience at them. Some of them are going to be great because you can actually go and like physically see this stuff. So that's the other cool thing. But just be open-minded. Don't concern yourselves as much. But then if you start to go through it, like you're sensing stuff, then look it up, being like, is this something that would be normal for, on the average? So hopefully that helps you out. Okay, so just kind of zipping through. Okay, and Jeff was just saying, so you wasn't even paying attention, was getting so confused I was feeling off. Aha, see, there you go. All right. Let's see, at least being paying attention. Okay. Margaret was saying, hey, Dad, remember the presentation about the frequency that was given 2 years ago about the old mill? I'd be willing to bet that's part of it. It certainly can be, Margaret. Jeff, I'm as sensitive as a rock. I don't pay attention to the upcoming events and really don't get affected by them, it seems. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, Jeff, and I'll throw it up there real quickly. That's because you're focused on other things. So you've gone into tunnel vision mode, and I know the things that you're into and what you're doing right now. You're in tunnel vision mode, so anything else is being blocked. You're purposely focused on your project, and it will easily block everything else out. Doesn't mean that it's bulletproof to where you can't get some things that slip through. In a moment that you're taking a break or you've completely stepped briefly away from your what you're doing and your projects and stuff, and then you notice something, then you snap back into working on your project, and then boom, nothing else is affected. So yeah, it depends on where your mindset is. If you're just trudging straight through and you're not paying attention to anything around you, yeah, you're gonna miss things easily. Shannon, I've had some cool things happening in my home office. 2 different people have seen it, which was nice because of additional validations. That's great. I love that. Yeah. Well, kind of. Not that I'm psychic or anything. No, no, but you also talked about it on your show on Thursday. So, the projects you guys are working on. So it's not that hard to, know where you're at. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. But let me read off the couple other majors that are happening in December. And so the next one, which is kind of cool, I know you are, Jeff. The next one is on December 13th, and it's granted, I'm as much as I love stars and space and all that stuff, I never get I can never pronounce some of the names and stuff like that. But the Geminid Meteor Showers. If I said it wrong, that's my bad. Anyway, there will be meteor showers, which is a very popular one that happens December, on December 13th. And they're saying it could be as much as you might see upwards of 120, shooting stars an hour. So definitely, if we do have clear skies, especially for us in southeastern Michigan, Northwest Ohio, we December usually kind of beats us up on that aspect where we don't get a lot of clear skies, too much. So if we do, December 13th, that'd be kind of cool to check that out and see some of the shooting stars out there. I've never been able to catch them because it's always either been busy with something or, it's on a work night. So I can't stay up too late to just, stare out there, plus being in, in Ohio and things, depending on how cold it is, you're not going to be out there all night. So even if you were to dress as warmly as possible. So, but yeah, that'll be kind of cool. So that's on the 13th. Let's see. Oh, cool. Yep. Yeah, Margaret. Yeah, that'll be a good one if they're awake for it. And Debbie, yeah, you just have to hope for the best. I mean, like I said, you never know. just Dad, just put up your force field, just do like Star Trek, put, say your shields are up around your house and you'll be fine. I'm getting to that, Margaret. Wait a second. Oh, hello, Anna. And so the next big one after the 13th is on the 21st, and that's winter solstice. Winter solstice, which we all know is the shortest day of the year, uh, which is interesting because it's the day that there's the least amount of light. But at that point is when we shift to going back into longer days. So the 21st is always a major thing. I'm not going to dive deep into it. Maybe we'll do that once we get a little bit closer. But there's a lot of spiritual and spiritual meanings to it. There's a lot of religions to it. Or I'm sorry, not religions to it, but a lot of belief systems around the winter solstice. So, depending on what you believe in, what your beliefs are, you can certainly dive into that. Oh, and Jennifer is watching. And the full moon on the 18th. It wasn't on my cheat sheet, so it's not valid. Thanks, Jen. There you go. We get a full moon in the 18th. So, there's another fun thing. So that's even in between the 13th and 21st. So, thank you, Jen. And then the final one, which Margaret was saying, isn't there another one? There's the Ursids meteor shower, which is on December 22nd. So it's really the day after the solstice, but this one's a little bit less than the other one on the 13th. This one, they're saying only about 10 shooting stars per hour. So still, if the, you missed the one on the 13th and, you're awake in the middle of the night and you got better skies, then there's a good chance you'll see some then. So again, all those things you can certainly dive into. Oh, there you go, Debbie. You'll be able to experience different things. And so, depending on how you want to look at it too, whether you just want to look at it just because it's, shooting stars and it's an event of that sort of thing, but you can also look at it in different avenues. And we can go, we'll dive into those once we get a little bit closer. Cause, that one will, cause my last show of the year will probably be that weekend before Christmas anyway, just because Christmas Day and New Year's Day are on, Saturdays. So, I'll probably have the last two Saturdays, off, unless something else comes up and I feel like jumping in and doing, maybe not a morning show, but something else. You never know. What was I doing? Oh, my cheat sheet. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. So don't forget the Death Star shooting. Only you, Jeff. Jeez. Yeah, but that's sad. Lots of good people, died on that planet. Yes, Margaret, that would be, so it is a busy month on Earth and astrology. Absolutely. That's kind of cool that there is so many of these different things that have been going on and how they kind of all like fall into place, but it's fascinating to me. I mean, like I said, I have to rely on others. And like I said, some of the cheat sheets, I have to look at what other people have posted because I can't remember them. And I just can't. There's too many other things I've focused on, but I love that stuff. I love it because I am sort of a space, geek nerd, however you want to look at it. So I do like looking up at the stars. It's been a thing. My mom and I, while I was still young, we would do that, especially in the summers. We just go out and sit and talk and look up at the stars, and whether it was cloudy or, fully lit with, stars or whatever, we were out there. So, it was always super cool. I do want to, since we jumped into the astrological events, I did want to back up real quick because I thought it was fun, and I'm not going to talk long on it because I've done that enough over the years. And yes, Nicole, stargazing. I did want to talk because I always get a crack out of it, and I laugh so much when I always get it because there's always at least one person that always says this particular thing at me, and it happens every time. But most of you, and if you didn't see it, you guys go to my page after the show, and you can watch it. But uh, most of you know that I do odd things in the winter. Not that it's odd for me, but I was guided to do it. But uh, you guys noticed on Monday morning. Yeah, it was Monday morning, Tuesday morning, one of the two. Yeah, Monday morning, and I got out there and was doing some snow walks, as most of you know and have commented, or at least did a like or whatever on the page, on the post. Yeah, it's just been one of those things. I just want to talk about it real quickly because, like I said, it's always funny to see. There's going to be somebody that just says, "What?" Actually, Dad, we'll hit that, but it's not the 24th. So, um, I get this comment every time I do it, and it cracks me so much. But I always get told I'm crazy to do that, and I never understand why people think it's so crazy. Because if it was crazy, it didn't hurt me, and it's not causing any other issues. So how is it crazy? I mean, why would you identify that as crazy? People do different things all the time, but it doesn't necessarily, maybe it's not something that you will do, but if I'm guided to do that, and my guides are never wrong, that them telling me to go walk in the snow, plus I've had a little training and how to handle, hot and cold situations. Uh it's truly one of those things that is amazing to me. The effects that I get after a snow walk is better than any caffeine or sugar drink in this entire world. I mean, I'd probably need to drink a case of like Red Bull or Monster, or have pots of coffee to achieve the natural high that I get from walking on the snow. And excuse me, it again, it's not necessarily for everybody to do. You know what I mean? But it's to me, you know, the those feelings you can't take away and stuff. And so for me to get out there and do that every time, it's the conditions are ideal. And I do say ideal because once you start getting below the 20s, for us in America, because I know we have some people in Europe watching. Once we get below 20 degrees, we the snow isn't as soft anymore. It's not as fluffy. And what ends up happening is it's not so much that the cold is bothering me. It's the fact that because the snow is freezing so quickly after it's on the ground, that it ends up being like actual true, pins and or needles or tacks. And so when you step on it, it's literally just like razor blades just slicing your feet apart. Whereas when you're in the 20s and low 30s, it's not a problem, because it's not, it doesn't feel like that. So I usually don't do anything, but once you get under the 20, degree Fahrenheit, and just stay above 20 and in low 30, because it just, you know, I don't want to slice my feet, per se, because that would be different than, because, the coldness is one thing, but being injured and then, having other issues and then having to stay off my feet to heal is a whole nother matter. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just, I never tell people to really go out there and do it. I just showing people that this is, something that's possible. I mean, you guys have seen so many videos of people doing fire walking. They're walking on, coals. So it's no different. Granted, there's some setup and things like that for them too, but at the same time, it's a grounding type of way of connecting with Earth, and it's just a different season of it. I tell people, and you guys have seen over the shows, especially over the warm months, go outside, put your feet on the ground, but don't do it on a deck, or don't do it on a patio. Do this on the ground itself. Try to be out there, walk around in your yard for 10, 15 minutes, that little bit of time does wonders for you. So, let's see. I missed a few things. Let's see. Yeah, Debbie watching it made my feet cold. Oh, cool, Shanna. She did one last year or last winter. Okay. And Anna, I always go outside to see the stars at night. That's awesome, Anna. Um, let's see. It's about the collective mindset. Anna saying it's about the collective mindset. What is crazy? I love that. Um, Nicole saying it's amazing. Grounding. Yep. Yeah, and see, Anna's, she's connected with the trees. Another good friend of mine, Carmen, is really connected with trees. She touches a tree, and it just same thing. That's her, main grounding. So that's amazing. Yeah, and Debbie, I appreciate that. The majority shouldn't dictate what is considered crazy. Like I said, it's not hurting me, and it's not hurting anybody else. So how could that be crazy? So I mean, there's nothing weird of it. And plus, I feel fine afterwards. In fact, I feel energized. I feel, completely like I don't need to drink coffee in the morning. I'm ready to go. I mean, it's so cool because I could have been up all night and I do that snow walk, and then it's just like boom, I am like wired. And so it's so amazing because the first time I did that years ago, it's probably been like maybe 4 or 5 years now, I think. But when first time I did it, holy smokes, I did this in the evening and I couldn't fall asleep because I was so wired. I mean, it was crazy, but it was so cool. Um, okay, Scott, I will do that. I'm just seeing what you're saying. You got it, Scott. It's on the way. Good friend of ours, Scott was saying in the chat that his wife Linda, who I know, battling COVID and pneumonia. So we're going to do our thoughts and prayers and healings towards Linda. Just kind of saying, being sensitive as he is, I do agree that there's a lot to be said about grounding in sessions. Patty, I clear a patch of snow off the ground so I can be on the earth and not the snow. And that's cool too, Patty. That's completely, hey, you know what? I wouldn't even, not a problem. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the snow it's just another part of the elements that we all are amongst, but to still put your feet in the ground and feel, the earth itself, that's awesome. No issues there. Not that I would have an issue if you were on the snow or not on the snow, but you're still putting an effort out there and to connect like that. And so it's beautiful. Anna, infinite love. You betcha, Scott. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, you guys are all, I mean, you could go out there and do it. Like I said, just, don't do it when it starts getting into teens, just don't do it then. Cause then you guys are gonna get mad at me. So keep it in the mid-20s, usually mid-20s to low 30s, is the perfect, temp to go try it. But even though that's my bad word, I never like to say try, just remember that, what people don't understand is, I mean, it is a mindset that you're doing. You already know it's cold. So push that thought away. And that's where it begins. Now you have to be in a situation to learn how to adapt to it. But as soon as you understand that whatever sensation like that, whether it's hot or cold, you have to understand once you're at peace with that, you're at one with that, that's when then you get comfortable with it and where it doesn't bother you. Now, I won't be out there all day long doing that because I don't need to. I get what I need, whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes. I get all I need, and I let my guides dictate how long I should be out there for because they know how long it's going to take to give me that kind of grounding, cleanse, whatever they want, however they want to do or help me there. So I just let it, flow and get out there for whatever length of time I need to be. But like I said, I'm not going to be out there all day. I got other things to do. So cool, Rachel. That's awesome. Go out. Yeah. I mean, even now, I mean, it might be a little, a little soggy or muddy or, just damp, but it doesn't hurt to go out there. Like I said, you don't have to be out there for very long, but if you guys go out there, even in the winter, even dressed up warmly, if that's where you're, how your weather is where you live, you don't need to have, be fully exposed, but just being out there. What I would do is kind of like what Anna talked about and what my friend Carmen does, take a glove off, if you're not wearing gloves, great, but or take them out of your pockets, but at least touch something that's connected to the ground, like a tree or a branch or a bush, whatever, is out there, but still try to make that physical connection. Whether you even want to get down and put your hand on the ground, that's fine too. But go out there and make that connection because yes, during the winter, everything shuts down because that's how the cycles go. everything needs to, be reborn, which is what spring is all about. And, you know, do what you can when you go out there. I mean, if you're taking a walk, and you're coming by a tree, stop real quick and put your hand on it, just say thank you. You don't even have to go into anything long or lengthy. Just up there, close your eyes, take a deep breath and say thank you, whether it's out loud or inside your mind, and then move on. And that's it. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Just little things like that can go a long way. And if you do that enough, you'll get things back. And that's probably the important thing, is that, the more you devote to it, the more open you are to it, the more you'll receive back. And that's the kind of cool thing. And you have to put the effort into it, because just once here and there isn't going to cut it. You've got to show that you mean it and that you're willing to do it all the time. So that's a cool thing. All right. We're at 1011, which is a good number. 1011. Have you guys noticed? I think wasn't yesterday. I think it was Thursday. I posted 3 pictures, and this was kind of interesting. And for those that missed it, I guess, what I could try to do. Let me go to the post, and then I can just share it, and then you guys can see it. Oops. Let me do that real quick. Where is it? I gotta scroll. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. Let me share. I wasn't sure if I was going to share it. That's why I'm taking the extra moment here. I just didn't know if I was. So you guys are going to kind of see all my lovely stuff in there, but I just wanted to blow this up a little bit. Whoops. Wait, where did it go? That's not it. It scrolled on me. Wow, that went really far. Okay, there we go. So now it might be a little bit darker on your screens because it's, being cycled through a share option, and I can't see your comments until I get out of this window, but I just wanted to go full screen for you guys real quick. In fact, let me make sure that I can see what I'm looking. Okay. You guys are still seeing it. Okay. Okay, cool. So I can't see what I'm doing because I only got my one monitor right now. So you can see here in the middle, the sunset just happened. So this was literally maybe 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes after sunset. And what I liked about it, and granted the photo's not doing it complete justice, but it was the whole point of the fire look to it. And that's what I thought was super, cool. And like I said, I tried to zoom in so you guys get a little bit more idea of how rich in color it was. Even with me zoomed in, you could see it starting to pixelate a little bit. But there's just something about it that connected with me, and I didn't think about it right away until after I took the photos. But before I talk about that, I may as well go to the last photo and just explain this one real quickly. So if you guys look over here, you can see the star, and then up here there's a star up here. So this star right here, which you can tell is a little bit bigger than the other one, that's Venus, the planet Venus, and the one that's up here is Jupiter. And I thought that was kind of cool because I could see them both in the same shot. Now, I think it was over here, if I'm not mistaken, Pluto was back here, but it wasn't, because Pluto's so far away, it was somewhere up here, but it's just not bright enough, and it wasn't dark enough to appear, but because it's obviously really small, but it was somewhere right above Venus, which was kind of cool. But like I said, it was neat to be able to capture both those planets, after the sunset, which again was that fire stuff, look to it. And let me back out of here and go back to full screens. But much like what you see back here, it really, like I said, I try to, it's so easy for us to look at and take things for face value. And that's great. We should, oh my God, that's a pretty sunset. Or like the ones I just showed you, that's a pretty sunset, awesome. I'm grateful that we get to see and witness that. And then like for me, I get to share it so that, in case you didn't have something like that in your area, you can kind of, share it with me. We can kind of see the same thing together and still take it in. But like for me, going the path that I've been, it's why aren't we, looking at it for other reasons? Why aren't we looking at it for deeper meanings? And that's what hit me is the fact that we Yeah, absolutely. On I just see what you're saying there. Yeah, in conjunction with Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. Yeah, I mean everything is supposed to be like in this alignment thing, which I've been hearing too. But I haven't seen a lot on it. But I know there's supposed to be a lot of planets that are going to be all in a basic alignment this month as well. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, so I when it hit me, because like I said, there's times like this where when I experience something, it's like, oh, it's so cool. I'm grateful that I was there. I got to take a few photos to keep it in my memory. And then it hit me. It was like, wow, I just realized that you know how we look at it. It was like, oh, it's beautiful, but then we realize you get people that'll put weird twist on, oh, it's going to be nighttime. And then you put all these sort of negative, energy towards, the nighttime, and, oh, it's darker and it's spookier, and, there's just not enough to do, you guys have all seen it. We've all said it too. It's like, oh man, I just wish it was, a little bit more light out, I mean, I think we all have, but how I looked at it and what hit me right then, obviously my guides were, slapping me upside my head about it because I wouldn't have thought of it otherwise. But it made me think that, we all have this coal, an ember, however you want to label it as, we all have it inside of us. We all have that burning desire that we've all said in, for a long time. You get this thing where you really want to go do something, or you want to avoid something, but there's just this strong uh feeling. And so there's just like this inside of you. And it made me think that just because the sun went down, and during the day, obviously the sun lights up everything and we can see things, and obviously the sun does help health wise as well. uh but when it goes down, it's like all extinguished and diminished, and it's like it's not true. It's just, obviously, we know science wise what's happening, but to us personally, for us, we've had our day. We all know that we need to go to bed at some point, and all it is that our fire that's been burning all day long needs to cool down, needs to sort of take a break as well. And so we go to bed, we kind of diminish everything, and then in the morning we wake up and we always say, take on the day. There's all these things that and metaphors and stuff that we've all used, but the way I was wording it was just like, hey, when you wake up the next morning, it's up to you as to how much, material, how much wood or fuel you want to take on the day. If you really do, to kick some, what, then you're gonna put a lot of different things on there to make sure that fire is, burning. But see, that's what I think is great, is we all need to take advantage of that. There's so many things that are happening, and however you want your day to go is, up to you. You want to, you know, I got to get these things done. Well, you better make sure your fire's burning, and that's, I think, kind of a cool way to look at it too, is don't always think that, when the sun goes down, everything has got to be, misery and sadness and negative. Just know that it's just the way it's supposed to be. We all need to take a break, but in the morning, it's up to you as to how much you want to get going with, just like my show here. you know it's the same thing. How much do we want to put into it? How much do we want to ask questions? How much do we want to interact? We're all just throwing logs on the fire here. We all got some great comments. We've all made wonderful questions, and that's how it's supposed to be. So keep that in mind every day. Wake up and just take on the day. Throw some wood on the fire, and let this have at it. It's up to you. We can suggest things to you each and every single day, but it's still up to you as to what you want to do or make of your day. So, when you go to bed, it doesn't mean you have to plan things out when you go to bed. I mean, sure, a lot of us do. We have things going on, but at the same time, we have to make that decision when we wake up. Like, I know I had to do this show, and I got to go get to do a charity event later tonight, which is super cool, and I'm excited about. And it's a meet and mingle with Chris Kringle. It's going to be up in Michigan, and so that'll be a good time. Get to hang out with a lot of people, some more people I haven't seen in a while, so that'll be kind of fun. Lots of cool surprises and great raffles and things. I'll go into a great charity up there. But that's just the thing is you wake up and you make it for however you want to be. So, Debbie, I love the sunset. I, it has become my curfew at this age since I can't drive anywhere. So I plan all home activities for then. Yeah, and that's okay. That's completely okay. My dad's saying he's put the coal in the fire from last Christmas. Well, you obviously didn't. You probably threw some water on it or something. And Anna saying the magical hour. Yeah, it is. It is very magical. Even then, reflecting on the day, what kind of day did you have? Did you accomplish a lot of things that you wanted to do? Or, even if you didn't, it gives you a chance to then make up for it the next day or the next time you can do whatever it is that maybe you missed out on. So, um, yeah, we're not too bad. So about 9 minutes out as I get a telemarketer call. Thank you, telemarketer. Oh, geez. Anyway, always fun. But so and I guess a couple other things to just sort of get towards the end here. One thing that's fascinating, and the beard is kind of covering it up a little bit right now. Starting tomorrow is another kind of unsung holiday. And I laugh because some of you know about it, some of you don't. Uh, but for those that don't, you're probably going to be like, what? It might be, Debbie. It might be. Half the time I haven't had too much of the car warranties anymore. It's been some school loans lately. Some supposedly they're calling about some type of court case that, you know, you can get your funds for, the winnings. Or I'm like, whatever. So I just kind of run away. Like, these guys are ridiculous anyway. But yeah, starting tomorrow is again another unsung hero. It's never really been popular here in the States. However, once a particular movie came out, it's now kind of like fueled the desire and the enjoyment of it. Even though the American version of it's not completely accurate, it's still kind of fun. But yes, starting tomorrow, the the Krampus is active. And for those that don't know it, the real short thing, because I'm not going to talk very long, but in short, Krampus, a lot of people say Krampus, but that's not how you say it. The A at the end is more of like a U. But the ideal was, it was, and the history is there's several different versions of it, but again, mostly Krampus was about getting lots of say there's different versions, but the gist of it was whatever you want to label it as, came about to remove all the naughty children. And so basically from December 5th leading up to Christmas Eve night, he would go out and handle things. And it's the stories and everything are a little bit more serious. But I guess I'm not going to dive into it, but that technically starts tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. But you could see he's hanging in there with me right now. So I had to have that on because I knew since it was tomorrow and you guys wouldn't see me until next week. So I had to throw a little bit of Krampus on for you guys. But yeah, it's kind of it's a, more mythological type of thing, but I think it's fascinating, in some regard, but it's kind of neat that it kind of does tie in with Christmas in a way. Cause Santa does, gives to the good children and Krampus deals with the bad ones. So it's a good balance. We talk about balance all the time, right? We got to weigh it all in. So it works, but not that we really condone, bad things. So uh, let's see. Let's see what's Shannon saying. In Wisconsin, December 5th at night, a family I knew had a tradition of putting a pair of shoes outside of your room on your or in your Christmas stocking. In the morning, it would be filled with goodies. I have not heard that one. That's really interesting. Wow. I like that. I've never heard of that. That's awesome. Do you know, Shannon, if that's like some type of hey Tanya, you have a great day. Shannon, is that any type of like does it have any support? Like meaning, does it come from anywhere? Is it from overseas? Did it come from Europe? Was it some type of tradition there? Or was it just something that this family did, here? I'm just kind of curious. Oh, she's got it there. Has a strong German tradition. Okay. All right. I haven't heard that one, but that's very fascinating. That's cool. I mean, there is a lot of them. There is certainly a lot of different traditions and things. Some of them are still existing and some aren't. So, but I like that. I really do. And as we get closer, there's a few Christmas traditions that my family still kind of does and things, and we will talk about that once we get there. Yeah, my father, Ein Prosit. Um, let's see. And Shannon's saying Christmas starts early in Germany on the night of December 5th to 6th. Nolgostog and St. Nicholas. St. Nick on December 6th. Yep. Children leave their shoes or boots outside the front door the night Santa Claus, Nicholas, visits and fills them with chocolates, oranges, nuts. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I knew the story of St. Nick, where he would start his thing on the 5th or on the 6th. So I didn't know that. But see, that's the thing is, even like with Krampus and stuff, only the southern part of Germany, because it was technically Austria is where the birth of Krampus came from. So only the bottom part of Germany ever like really paid attention to that. But as obviously the country's kind of blended, in some ways, even Austria, recognized the sixth for Saint Nick. So that's really cool. I like that. I like it. Very cool. Yeah, so just a couple more minutes left. Yeah, let me make sure we should be good. Like I said, we're wrapping up the year, so to speak. So yeah, next week the 11th, no problem. And then the 18th, no problem. So the next 2 weeks are going to be like I said, most likely the last mid-morning medium show will be on the 18th, because it's not like I'm going to do a show on Sunday the 26th. Or do a morning show on the 2nd of January. So I'll just take those 2 weeks and relax. Like I said, I may have some other ideas. I kind of posted about it last weekend or early this week. I might do a couple pop-up shows. They might not be, they're obviously probably not going to be necessary on a weekend. They might be on a Sunday. You never know. Like I said, I'm trying to check my schedule out, because there's some other things still going on. So I'm trying to work some things out. I mean, keeping my fingers crossed that I can do a couple pop-ups, but so at least 2 more mid-morning shows to wrap up the year, wrap up the season 2. And then we'll be back on the 8th of January. So we will get back at it and things. So yeah, other than that, hopefully you guys are doing well. Keep in mind, be safe out there. Obviously, there's all kinds of things going on. And again, something that I don't bring up on the show. I usually don't talk about that stuff because it just, puts our heads in a whole different place. And I'm not going to be the one to do that. So excuse me. But yeah, enjoy your week. Keep looking for posts. Other than that, yeah, I just can't thank you guys enough for being here with me today, and enjoy the rest of your weekends. And we'll definitely do this again next week. And and always keep in mind, if you guys ever have some other things you want to talk about or suggestions, about a topic, whether it's it lasts the whole hour, or if it's something on the shorter perspective, definitely hit me up privately, or and I'll try to throw it in the list and something that we can hash on and give you my opinions on it, or at least provide some data that I'm aware of and things like that. So yeah, so that'll be a good one. So yeah, maybe, Margaret. Yep, Debbie, you have a great weekend. Nicole, thank you. Have a good one. Anna, thank you. Like Kellogg's better than okay, Dad. Rachel, you enjoy it. If you get outside today, let me know. And then Shannon, you have a great weekend. Thank you so much. So, all righty, it's that time. So I'm going to get out of here. So thank you so much for watching Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. I will definitely see you again next week, as well as a bunch of posts during the week, and keep watching. So we'll see you. See you, Margaret. All my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.